Of the canning process, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, right now we got our canning done for today, and then we're going to have some maintenance and everything else come in today, and then tomorrow we're going to be canning. But cool. That'd be nice to have it, but we don't have it. So now
that's cool.
We're going to come over here, and then what we're going to do is.
All right. Whoops. Here we go.
So what it is we actually have this over here, and if you stop and just kind of turn this way, right there. Now, all of this is where we have our labels. And our labels are made to catch people in 3 different ways. First, color. Second, picture. Third, name. And the reason why we do that is because when we're in stores, this allows us to be able to catch attention. Because usually, when you have different beers, they have the same, let's say, the same picture, the same logo. Every one of our beers have a completely different image to represent a Nebraska-based or a fun theme. So, for example, we have the Devil's Gap. And the Devil's Gap, has a looks like Indiana Jones on fire in the skeleton form, and it has fire behind. And then we actually have Dan the Wiser, and Dan the Wiser is literally he's on a motorcycle. And then we have Dan the Wiser Peach, which he's on a motorcycle, but it looks like a sunrise.
Oh, cool!
So we have different pictures for different beers, and this allows us to be able to capture people's attention and be able to even give them a fun story or something to relate to, as they like their certain favorite beer.
That's really cool. That is really neat.
Now, the other cool thing I like about it, and I'll show you really quick, just stand there.
Okay.
When stores, we actually have our labels, and they'll look like this.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, anyway.
Oh yeah.
So you're fine.
Okay.
So we actually have our labels. Now, what it is they come in plastic, so that way you can kind of feel it. Now, when we do this, the image is bigger than the name, because if you wish to kind of cut close up, I'll just move it there. You see Kincaiders at the bottom. We want people to be addicted to our product and not the name. Why? Because if a person likes a certain beer, let's say Snow Beast like this one, then they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we want the one with the Yeti on it. Yeah, it's the blue label with the Yeti. Well, that makes it very easy and distinguishable when it comes to picking a certain beer they like. But when it comes to, others, like the Silver Bullet, they have to say, is it Coors Light, is it heavy, whatever. But this allows people to be able to find and exactly pick whichever beer they like the most and be able to be very consistent in buying what they like.
That's really neat.
So, all right, so now what we can do is we're going to kind of come over here, and spin, and then over here in this corner, go ahead and stop and just kind of sweep from right to left. And this right here is where we have our cans stored, but also we have a little, what they call a little bar section. It looks like a watering hole.
Oh.
It has a KB on the front.
Okay.
And then it actually has a refrigerator behind where we keep it there. And then if you look up top, just kind of raise it up just a little bit. Move it to the right.
Okay.
Right there. That is where we have our 6 different, 6 different starter beers, which kind of got Kincaid started.
Oh, cool.
We had a few of those in stores and everything else that we canned and bottled. So that is how we were able to get our start as far as being in distribution.
That's pretty neat.
Okay. So now we're going to go to the next room where we actually have all of our storage. So you have any questions so far?
Not really. This is. I mean, you're really doing a good job at describing. It's really neat.
Well, I want this to be such a simple process. Step up. There you go.
Yeah, and it's great. I'm learning a lot. I mean, it's really cool.
So now start right there and just kind of pan to the right.
Okay.
Keep going.
I think my viewers on YouTube would be impressed.
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
All right.
Keep going. And right there. And then pan back a little bit there. And then what I want you to do is raise it up. Now, these right here are all of our cans. We actually have 3 different cans that you're probably looking at. We have a black can that is our featured beer. We actually had Bangarang.
Oops.
Very good. It's kind of like a pineapple blend, a pineapple ale. And then we have our Tall Boys, which is the ones right in front of you. And those are actually going to be our specialty beer. Why? Because we have Radler that we have them in, but we had they're going to be sold at our World Series.
Oh, wow.
So that's actually a really cool thing. So what we did was we took our 12 ounces and put them in 16 ounces with pounders. So we're excited about that. And then we have our standard regular small cans, which is going to be to the right of that. And then that right there is what we put all of our beers in and be able to, can them whatever you need.
That is so cool.
So
that is so cool.
Yeah. And then also, as a little special treat, if you pan over here, This right here is where we have our barrel aged. Okay, what we do is we have 5 different locations. We have Broken Bow, Grand Island. We have 2 in Lincoln. One is the tap house, and the other one is actually where we make our spirits. It's Sideshow Spirits. Wonderful. You guys got to try the bourbon. Anyway, and whiskey. We got peach whiskey. Amazing. Anyway, but then we also have our last one, which is Omaha, and that's another tap house and everything else. Well, what we do is for these barrels, we will buy these brand new and store them in Lincoln, and what we do is we'll put our barrel aged or bourbon in there, and we'll age it for about a year or 2 years, depending on what we have. Okay. Once we get done, we'll bring those barrels up here, and we'll actually add our beer. So, for example, we add our Snow Beast into this. So then it becomes a barrel-aged beer. Oh. And what happens is it will double, sometimes triple, the alcohol content percentage, and also the flavor becomes very delicious. So literally, it's one of those where you want to sip slowly and do it like that. But this is one of those things that we've done, and it's been very successful, being able to reuse our barrels and kind of, get the most of our money, but more importantly, be able to bring a wonderful product for those who can try it.
Are those wooden barrels? Or?
Yes, they are. Matter of fact, let's come closer. So
neat. Oh yeah, right here. And then, they got a unique shape to them. It's like big around the top, and then it kind of tapers down.
So
here.
what it is these barrels are actually sitting on their sides.
Okay.
And if you come up top here, you actually see
a cork.
And
right
then
there.
be careful, you got some of that sap there. There you go. You have a cork there, and then some we have standing up. So, for example, the ones you're probably used to are these right here.
Right here, yes.
Yep.
The ones that are standing up, yeah.
Yep.
My mother had some furniture made out of these.
Oh, when we get done, we usually will sell what's left over to those who have it done. Some of them use it for furniture. Some of them use it for, decorations outside. Some of them use, just many things. But yeah, it's really cool to be able to have a system like this.
Yeah, it is. It's really neat. And now, how do these stay? Because you're talking about boards here that I can feel the seams right here. How do you seal them so nothing leaks out of this?
Okay.
That always baffled me. That always, was an interest of mine. To, how do they?
They make them different ways. For example, when they put them together, they will put bands around them. That's what these metal things are. And then what they'll do is they'll char the inside, and then sometimes they'll put wax on the inside. Other times they'll just kind of put some sort of something on the inside that will not allow the the liquid to seep out.
Okay.
And then when they do that over time, if let's say if they put wax on the inside, then wax will kind of dissolve a little by little, which in turn has little bitty leaks. So for example, like this.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Right there.
Sorry.
That's
So
all right.
anyway, so what happens is it'll leak a little bit. So these will have, let's say for example, we can use them up to maybe 5 times or maybe 5 years worth of use out of them. And then by the time we get to that point, it leaks so much to where we end up selling these and having to get new.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha. And the alcohol doesn't really impact the wood. It doesn't like rot this or anything.
no,
It doesn't.
not at all. Because when they char the inside, when you burn something, for example, when you build something, you burn it, that will actually preserve the wood and it gives it a longer life. That's why for those people who have seen people who have these log cabins, they may take a torch and they may torch the outside and kind of charring it a little bit, giving it a little bit of a design. That stops it from drying out and aging and cracking them and everything else.
Oh, interesting. So it preserves it.
Yes.
That's really neat.
Yeah, so that's why they burn a lot of the parts to the cabins, because it'll make it last longer and weatherize better.
Oh, that is it. That is, I didn't know that. That's really cool. So we used to live in a log cabin in Colorado, in Manitou Springs. That was a nice place. We had a mountain stream running through our backyard. And
Nice.
my brother would go down there and catch rainbow trout. Oh, it was cool.
That's crazy. I wouldn't do it because I'm sorry. I'm from the city. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you our what do you call it? Our malt rye stash. So we're going to stop here. And then I'm just going to have you pan there, stop there, and then move it to the right. Right there. Okay. So if you was to come back here, this right here is actually where our we have our huge bags of what we call it, our mixtures of wheat, rye, malt, and everything else.
Okay.
And then what we do is we'll fill these up, and based upon if we want honey wheat, if we want Devil's Gap, if we want Snosberry, we will have it pre-blended, or not pre-blended, but we'll blend it together, and then we actually have a grinder that will grind everything up. And then once it goes to the first tank that you will see on this video, that is where it goes up to that, and then we dump it in there, and then we start our mixture of beer. So the flavors come from our malts, and I'll show you the malt section.
Okay.
stop right here, that right here is actually where the malt section is.
Oh, wow.
And actually, there's some right here, and it comes over here, and it's over in that corner. And if you notice, in that corner, it actually has chocolate. We have brown malt, we have vanilla, we have roasted, we have honey. We have many different flavors, which in turn gives us the start of our pre-beer, which is called wort.
Oh, wow.
And then over here, we have our grinder, if you see up here. That right there is where we hang our bags. And then we have a hole at the bottom, and then it will allow it to be able to be filtered down through the bottom. And then we have a grinder, and the grinder will come from here up to the top, and it actually has an auger. And it goes inside that wall way over there, and then it will go up to our first tank, which allows us to be able to have our pre-beer ready to go, or
That's really neat.
our mixture ready to go. Now, we're going to show you the final room that we have here. Let me open the door.
I'm gonna start
Step up.
a new video clip, so I'll just
Yeah.